All right. So we've been telling you guys for a few days here that we got a dope guest who's coming on. Showed the video a little bit ago. Man, this dude is really all about the 420 crew because he's playing a football game, throws a touchdown, sparks a J on the field. The Glacier Pack. So the team that he's going against, smoking the Glacier Pack on the field, and then just comes out and shreds them for like 4 more touchdowns after that. He's in the building. Jason Stewart, aka QB Stew, never gets old. So yeah, man,
having me, bro.
Hell yeah. And long time coming. We do fantasy football content for the most part. We're dabbling in other things now. And we were doing a daily news show. And this must have been a few months after it happened, but that's how dope it was that it was still circling around on the internet. And so I showed everybody the clip, and ever since then, everyone's fucking with QB Stew.
I love the play on words, dabbling.
Hell yeah.
No pun intended. But yeah, I appreciate it, bro. You know, why I did it was actually much bigger than a lot of people realize. When you watch the full version of the video, you'll see like they panned over to me after the touchdown, and I talk about like why is it okay for an athlete to chug a beer, and it's not okay for us to medicate, because at the end of the day, cannabis is medicine. And a lot of us deal with different things. Myself, I've always dealt with anxiety and some other issues, and cannabis was for me a substitute from pills. They had put me on a lot of different pills for when I separated my shoulders in college.
Okay.
And they had me on hydrocodones, and I hated playing on hydros. It made my head feel like it was separated from my body. Whereas cannabis, surprisingly, I could still be fried and play at a high level, truly.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Ricky Williams, he's been on our channel a few times. And, I mean, the most famous weed advocate, out there. And yeah, man, I mean, fuck the pills. I mean, we see a lot of people getting addicted to opioids every single year. And finally now are we maybe hearing about cannabis not being a Schedule I drug? Like it's finally getting to the point where it might not be. That shit needs to happen.
Yeah, it's all political. At the end of the day, it wasn't a matter of the government actually being worried about people's health and wellness, or cigarettes would be outlawed. A lot of, and I'm not coming at people who smoke cigarettes, but it's just the concepts. Like if that was really the case, a lot of different things would not be allowed. And now that they're figuring out ways to tax it and actually monetize and benefit off it themselves, now all of a sudden, oh, it's okay. So when people take the time to actually do the research on how cannabis even started to become outlawed, and why they started to create propaganda against it, they realize it actually is a lot deeper than it just being some, drug that people shouldn't use. And I grew up on the same type of propaganda, the Dare commercials, and if you smoke, you're gonna just melt in your couch. I mean, like, look at you, bro. You're hot right now, still being productive, doing a podcast, talking sports. Like, so this is just more proof in the pudding that, like, let us live. Truly, let us live. So the one thing I will say, after I smoked in the game, I knew the pressure actually went up.
Hell yeah.
Because I said, if I hit this, it was the third play of the game. If I hit this and then throw interceptions or play bad, they're gonna blame it on the guys.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta go crazy after this.
Hell yeah. And my co-host, Bogey, he put in the chat right now. He said cannabis is a performance enhancement drug, hands down.
Absolutely. It's how I prefer to play. Also, when I was talking about anxiety, if I throw incomplete pass and I'm high, I don't care about the incomplete pass. I'm vibing. I'm thinking about the next play, So and to be honest, like, a lot of time when you smoke, by warm-ups and by the game, when it actually starts, you've already got a good sweat going. So it's not even like you're like, your eyes are crossed. Like, you just feel good, It's like the same reason why some guys, I know some running backs and some defensive, like Marshawn Lynch, would take shots before the game. just so that way, he'll get a little numbness and actually, be okay with the contact. So,
Yeah.
like I said, it was more, of course, it was like a troll moment, it went viral, but to me, it was more so like, I really wanted to do this for the entire cannabis community and like prove a point that like you can do this and still play at an exceptional level. And there's a lot of athletes that have already done it too. So to me, it was just
Yeah.
my own way of doing it.
Hell yeah, man. And shout out to you for doing it, because I mean, you knew you were gonna, I'm sure you knew you were gonna have a negative backlash from the squad. I mean, did you already assume that was gonna be your last game, like with them when you did that?
So I knew it would be 50-50, and for everyone watching, I encourage you to don't ever do or not do something because of the reaction or what people might say. At the end of the day, like, stay true to yourself, because when we die, like, or when you're on when you're on your deathbed, all you're gonna think about is what you didn't do, And to me, I kind of came into the league as a bit of a joker in the regards to I was already retired for like 4 years.
Oh
I,
shit.
I've been a full-time day trader since 2017. So I wasn't really reliant upon the money, and I also didn't care about trying to go to another league. I was just there to have fun and get more brand awareness. And like,
Oh
to
yeah.
me, that was a freedom in that, because it's like I can play and not care about any rules, not care about any opportunities. Like, and what's cool is after doing it, I got deals with raw papers. I got
Oh yeah.
deals with cookies, So a lot of different brands reached out to me and showed love, for the
Hell yeah.
celebration. And then even destroying, I couldn't have planned that. A really big YouTuber ends up bringing me on the NFL tour. I got to throw with Michael Vick. I got to throw with Eli Manning. And so these type of things are a prime example. If you stay true to who you are, there's going to be doors that open up for you that no person can close. So
Hell
it
yeah.
is what it is, man. I'm just being me. Everyone else is taken.
That's dope. That's dope. And yeah, the day trading, I mean, dope that it's been doing good enough to where, like, yeah, you could do whatever the hell you want. What was the league called? It was the fan controlled one, right?
Yep, the FCFL, the Fan Controlled Football League, had Johnny Manziel in it. He and I were on the same team.
Hell yeah.
Terrell Owens was in it. Some owners were like Quavo, Drewski, Destroying, Marshawn Lynch. So, like I said, Steve Aoki was there, performed after a game. So
Nice.
to me, it was just more so the entertainment aspect and the networking that really appealed to me.
Because how much? I mean, how much did the players get? Like, what do you think the average was in that league of getting paid?
Not much, bro. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I said, none of us were. I mean, some guys, unfortunately, were there for the money, but like I said, to me, I actually lost money playing in the league because
Oh
it was,
shit.
well, just as far as like my normal monthly income's concerned.
Right.
I quickly realized I can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Everyone that was there was like fully focused on the game and playing at their highest level. So then I'm like, all right, I got to put my businesses and operations on hold so that way I can play at my highest level, because I've
Right.
never been the most talented. I've always had to do extra work, really know the ins and outs of the playbook, know my personnel, form the relationship and bond with my teammates so that way we can all operate at a high level. And that's why I didn't do it first game of the season either, because I wanted to show like I can actually play. Like, I'm really a baller. But the last game I did it, I ended up breaking my foot and tore all the ligaments in my foot too. So my
Oh
season
shit.
would have been over regardless. And what do you know? After I break my foot, what's the first thing I want? Some medicine. My foot is
Yeah.
throbbing. Like, so just it just goes to show that joint that I smoked, I ended up smoking that after the game because I needed some medication for my foot.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I was gonna ask you about that because I saw. Was it like right at the end of the game when you got hurt?
Yep, it was we were already up 30. I didn't need to be in the game anymore, and it was like third and long. I dropped back, nothing was open. I pick up the first down, but the way that turf was, it wasn't normal turf. It's like I can't even explain it. It's whoever picked that turf, I want to talk to them, because it's like that there were so many injuries throughout the league of people's knees and feet and ankles going out, and my foot got caught in the turf, and literally my toe touched my shin. And it was the most painful injury I've had in my whole career of playing. And I instantly knew that it felt like my foot exploded.
Fuck.
So yeah, it's funny too because after the game, I still wanted to go celebrate with my team. So I hobbled my way to the bar to have one drink with the boys, and then I had to have a friend drive me home because I couldn't even put my foot on the pedals.
Damn. Well, you went out like a G. Either
Hey,
way.
went out on a high note, bro. Went out on a high note.
Hell yeah. And so you said you were retired for like years at that point. Where'd you play college at?
So the summary of my career was I played only 1 year of high school football at the varsity level. I was a late bloomer. I was more of a basketball player than a football player. But once
Okay.
I started playing quarterback, I fell in love with it. And I felt like I could play at a high level. I just knew I needed more time to develop. So I bet on myself. I went to junior college for 2 years in Kansas. My sophomore year, I became the number one quarterback in the nation. I signed to Memphis. I got to Memphis. I was behind Paxton Lynch, who was a projected first rounder.
Yeah.
I got to do a lot of mop up duty, but then I actually got to play against Cincinnati one game. I was the MVP of that game, so that at least was a blessing to me because I got to show like, I'm not just some Joe Schmo. Like I even, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Paxton and I were best friends.
Tight.
We were roommates. Our class schedule was identical. So when he went to the Broncos, I moved out there with him. And I never did my pro day. I failed 3 drug tests at Memphis. Like cannabis has been a large part of my career, for many years. So it's not like I was new to this. And obviously moving to Denver, it was like at the time the Mecca, you
For
know.
sure.
So I remember when he got drafted to the Broncos, he was shedding a tear and I started shedding tears, but for different reasons. And so I was out there in 2017, and then that's when I started to say, okay, my best friend is making millions playing football, but I don't get to play football anymore. So that's what even got me into day trading. And then I moved to Atlanta in 2019, and 2020 or maybe 2021 was when I think maybe it was even 2022. Yeah, 2022. So 2 years had gone by from even when I moved there, and then I noticed there's a league in Atlanta. So the commissioner
Cool.
asked me to come to a tryout. I showed up to the tryout, did my thing, and then the rest is kind of history.
Tight. And I remember hearing about the league, and I mean, because of guys like T.O. and Marshawn Lynch, getting involved. What like out of anybody who was like just like famous before that league, do you remember seeing anybody putting like dope plays out there?
Yeah, so I was watching Johnny. They were House of Highlights kept posting Johnny's big plays. And the first year I didn't go do it because they had like COVID was a large part of what was going on.
Yeah.
So like the players were on lockdown. They couldn't even leave the hotel. Like it was pretty serious. So I just watched as a fan the first league, and I saw that they had a celebration cam. And to me, I thought, wouldn't that be something if a player scored and went to the celebration cam and sparked up?
Hell yeah.
And then that's when the idea was born. And then I started telling some of my friends about it, and they were like, "Yeah, that would be mad funny." And so, that was always my plan. Like, and I have receipts. It's like I learned that whenever you have an idea or a vision, the best thing you can do is share it with as many people as possible, even if they don't see it. You're putting more pressure on yourself to actually complete it, because now if you don't do it, you're a liar. And that's one thing I never want to be. So I actually started telling a lot of people, even players in the league, week one, I'm telling them I'm here because watch, one of these games I'm gonna hit the gas after a touchdown. And the stars just aligned. Destroying has a bigger platform than the league was even producing.
Yeah.
So I told him, the week that he was there, I'm like, bro, after this touchdown, just know I got something for you. So, you know, that's how it worked out.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Peacock who said legendary. Hell yeah. And I'm sure you've been doing dope shit, for your whole life. But yeah, that that turned you into a legend automatically. And Yeah, and I mean I don't know if you saw the little video that I posted. Like I kind of that video that you guys had, I just chopped it up into like a minute so people could see a bunch of stuff. But I made sure to leave in the part, shout out to the VA and Plants Over Pills and just everything that you said before. Like yeah, it's cool to drink a beer, but God forbid we hit the gas. And so
Yeah. So that's all it really was. It's like I said, a lot of time things are deeper rooted, and but I can't explain all that when I'm hitting it. So I'm theatrical, I'm an entertainer to the core. So it's like that was, I hit it. I said I'm smoking on the op, smoking the Glacier Pack. And then I even stayed on brand to the FCF. I said stay zapped because I was
yeah.
playing for the Zappers and all the fans were calling me Captain Zap Sparrow. Because when I run, they said I was running like Jack Sparrow. So I loved it, like I had a great rapport with the fans. I viewed it as the WWE of football.
Yeah.
So to me, I felt like the FCF should have rallied behind that because I kept telling them we can't compete with the NFL, XFL, or now UFL, or even the CFL. We can't compete with the level or quality of football that they're producing. So if you know you can't compete with that potency of product, then let's create our own lane. Let's be the WWE because obviously WWE is vastly different from UFC, but there's a
Yeah.
lane for both.
Yeah.
So that was just how I was thinking. They even encouraged us to score and take a shot or, score and chug a beer. But it's like obviously Georgia, marijuana is still illegal. So
Yeah.
I actually had a friend come to the game just in case I got arrested. I'm like, I'll give you the money for bail, but don't leave me in there longer than an hour, bro. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it fucking sucks that not every state has come around to it. I'm originally from Cali, and I mean I'm 38 right now, so ever since I mean 1994 or whatever, 96, one of the two. That's when it went legal for medical, and by the time I was 18, I mean it was pretty easy to get a card and be 100% legal with it.
in
I
due
did.
time, in due time. That's the reality of it. It's the same as NIL. We were all preaching NIL
Mm-hmm.
way before NIL. And
Oh
even
yeah,
me being number one quarterback in the nation, I would have got a bag.
yeah.
So it's like, but I'm still grateful. I had to take my own route and my own journey, to get to where I am today. So I wouldn't change it, but it's just a lot of times when something's not right and it should be changed, like I said, you got to be the activist. You got to be the person who leads the charge. And I'm not. What I did was a glimpse on the scale. Michael Phelps has been active about talking about it. Percy Harvin said there wasn't a game he didn't play. He wasn't high. Ricky Williams. So Kevin Durant talks about playing high. So, I'm just a little speck on the overall. But to me, that was just me flipping my coin in the wishing well, like that was my little moment in time. And like you said, now I still do stuff outside of it. I do kind of like, I wouldn't call them so much trick shots, but I went to DC. I'm from the DMV area, so I thought it would be cool to throw over the reflection pool. That did
Okay.
over 1 million views. And then I just went to New Hampshire and I told my boy who he was a receiver in the XFL. I was like, bro, get on some skis and let me throw you a bomb, And so House of Highlights hit me up about that video. So it's
Right.
like I got a lot more ideas as far as just 6, 7 second scenes that include a ball and some type of emote, like
Yeah.
that's back to the creativity. Cannabis opens up, and this is one thing I want to say too. There's cannabinoid receptors in our brain. So to me, it's like, why would God put receptors in our brain if there wasn't any need or usage for that specific thing? And then also, God said that everything he made is good. So we're talking about a plant. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
these are things. And also, I know I'm kind of going off in left field, but to me, it's like, what's wrong with me smoking marijuana and still loving Jesus? Like it's just it's, once again, it's you got to be a trailblazer to an extent. You got to stand on what you believe in and what you love. Like I smoke cannabis, but I still love God. I still love Jesus. I still want to treat people properly the way I would want to be treated. I lead with love. So even Shakespeare said, one touch of kin can make the whole world family. I mean, one touch of nature can make the whole world kin, is what he said. So what touch of nature do you think he's talking about?
Hell yeah. And I know it's like a joke in Friday, where Smokey's like, God put this here for me and you. Take advantage. But like, it is just a plant that just grows out of the ground.
Truly, man. Even the anointing oil included cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, they would put anointing oil on people's heads and it would seep into their scalp. And it's like there was cannabinoids within that oil. So it's like, it just takes time for people to do a little research and just have a little bit more open. I mean, the first miracle that Jesus ever performed was turning water into wine. So it's like, and the scripture says, don't drink to be a drunkard. So, and I don't even really drink like that. The only drug, quote unquote drug that I even do is cannabis. So it's like, I'm not trying to promote kids to go, do a bunch of drugs, but it's like we're talking about a medicine, we're talking about a plant, we're talking about something that for so long has been viewed as devil's lettuce, and it's like
We
I
got
just disagree. I just disagree.
we got our homie here, Marco, who's all the way in Germany. And there was a politician who said the reason why weed is not going to be legal is because it's not broccoli.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally what he said. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's those type of guys who you would think they're high with the shit they say. And it's like, brother, like you need to rewind that. You know what I'm saying? So, I like what Kodak said, he said, told the doctor, I'm a healthy kid. I smoke broccoli, so it's like that's how I look at it. But it is what it is, man. I just want people to be themselves, bro, because life is so short, man. My best friend, my roommate in college, he was the #1 offensive lineman in the country. He went to Florida State, and he passed away 2 years ago. I got his number tatted on my wrist, man. It's like life is so short. I've lost a lot of brothers, a lot of people who are very close to me. They're just not here. So it's like I really look at life as day by day, day to day, not a month from now, 2 years from now. And I feel like when you live that way, you don't leave anything on the table.
Hell yeah. And our homie Dennis here, he said his 4-year-old daughter's on medical cannabis. Shit's a lifesaver. And he said medical cannabis has been a miracle for her and us. And
That's
I was,
amazing.
it's crazy hearing like people's stories like that because you never know. And like at one point, he's just a random guy, and I mean, we've met in person now and, all types of shit now. And for him to share a story about his daughter, like literally medical cannabis is saving her life right now.
And more stories like that need to be heard because, like, that's the reality, Even my mom, she's been battling stage 4 breast cancer for about 3.5, 4 years now. And, like, the gummies really help her get good rest. They really help her with her appetite because she's to the point where, she doesn't even want to eat dinner anymore. And, like, as a son watching a single mother uh go through this and deteriorate right before my eyes, because like I said, I was living in Atlanta. I left Atlanta just to come be with my mom because it's like she gave me the world, me and my little brother. So it's like me to have to witness this is, it's like I have to medicate too, bro, because I'm sitting here hurting watching my mom go through this, so it's like that's
Yeah.
one of the things that helps me grieve and at least like navigate my emotions a little bit better, and just
Yeah.
understanding like we can only control what we can control. But it's more stories like that need to be heard because that's far greater than even what I'm using it for.
Yeah, and I know definitely myself, I'm using it for a lot of medical reasons. A lot of it just to stay sane. How about that? Through like just regular day to day, because a lot of shit in normal life is stressful. And so I don't know why people would turn to alcohol, versus something that's gonna put you on the up and up, not the down. And shout out to our homie Peacock, who he just passed 1 year. So I call it California sober, when you're not drinking, but you might partake in the weed or the mushrooms. That's all right if it's natural. I'm all about it. And he quoted Half Baked. I don't do drugs, just weed.
Just be truly, man. It'll be a beautiful day when it's just like you said, acceptable across the world, not just the United States, because I've been to all 50 states. I've been to 20 countries. Just it's been an absolute blessing. Traveling is one of my favorite things to do,
Hell
just
yeah.
because you get different perspectives. You know, you get to experience life, and I feel like staying in the same place is like staying in the same page in a book. You know, there's so many other pages and things that you can experience. So that's obviously I love, it's like me and my boy, one of my other quarterbacks I played with at Memphis, we would always say like we just amplifies life a little bit, it just makes it a little bit better, and
Hell
it's
yeah.
like it kind of makes you a bit more present at times too, so I kind of view it as peanut butter as well. Some people, they even smell peanut butter and they end up in the hospital. And some people, they can eat a whole jar and be okay. So each person needs to understand what they can handle, and what the adequate amount is for them. And not everyone needs it. That's the reality. Not everyone needs it. So for the people who do, let us do us. And for the people who don't, they won't. So that's ultimately is going to be a beautiful day, man, when the world accepts it for what it is. But we live in 2024, so there's progress. Not, it's not perfect, but it is some progress that we're experiencing. So hopefully we get to see that day.
Hell yeah. And I know for me, I've been such a weed advocate and doing things not the right way in society's standards that it's definitely made things a little bit harder for me. I mean, shit, even with the content that I'm doing now, if I would have never involved weed like at all, like I probably would have like, more views, more subs, like all this kind of shit. But like everybody that I've met who's found me and like likes the weed part of it, those are like the ride or dies. And so like I'd rather not have as many fake people around. I'd rather have some real ones around. And so
The potency of your circle and your community, like you said, man, it's not about being the biggest. It's not about getting the most views. Cause same thing, bro. Like I've always been the class clown. There's so many things that would have been off brand, right? That I could have done. Like I don't know if you remember Boont Gang and a couple of those other guys where they were
mhm,
just, you go in the store and you stand up on the table and you yell and you, but that's not me. I
yeah,
could have done that. I could have gone that route and gone viral, but it would never have been for the right reasons.
yeah,
So a lot of time, if we just, like I said, stay true to who you are, and don't, don't water down the product just to try to get more people on it. It's like Blue Magic was potent, and I hate to compare it to heroin, but it's like, it's like if your product is your product and it's potent, then just keep it that, and the right people will find it. And when they find it, they'll love you for it because they'll know what you just said. This guy could just be doing a fantasy show. I see some. I don't even
yeah.
play fantasy football. Exactly. People will love you for you, bro. And as long as you continue to be that light and be that example, then the right people will find you.
Oh yeah. And our homie Bakes a Lot said, "What's the dopest dope you've ever smoked?" He said,
Was it
"Weather
the?
Glacier."
I mean, honestly, in Denver, Denver, Colorado was definitely probably some of the like highest THC levels. Vegas had some good stuff too, but that to me was obviously, like after I hit that, I'm like, whoa, like it's because it's like just the moment of it, and it's just one of those things. Even if I played in another league, I would never do it again. Like I don't like
Yeah,
repeating. It's to me, it was a moment in time. Like that was the
yeah,
only type of league that I would have wanted to do it in. If I
yeah,
if I ever played in the UFL or the NFL or any, which I never would, but if I did, I wouldn't, I'm saying? I'm a smart guy. I wouldn't do that. But with a league like that where it's entertainment based and you got fans picking plays off Twitch and you got all these entertainers and characters who are the owners, like that's the league you do it in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I never understood why they didn't get rally behind it more, because that one clip drove more traffic to their league than any other previous clip.
hell yeah.
So,
I never saw anything from that league at all. Random, little stories here and there that'll just go. But yeah, so that game that you destroyed them in, smoking the joint. I mean, that's the most that I've seen from that entire league. So yeah, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even really even it'd be an afterthought in my head.
and there was a lot of people who who said, I want to, I want to watch the league just to see QB Stew. Like, I want to see what he does. Like, we're here for him now, but obviously breaking my foot, that was
Yeah.
the end of, but now what is cool though is when I went to the Zappers, I got traded for TO to go to the Zappers. I
That's
get
tight.
right. That part is, I got to throw that in because it's like you get
Oh
traded for a Hall of Famer. I don't care how old he is. Like, I grew up watching the guy. So I go to the Zappers. They hadn't won a game. So if they lost another game, they would have had been exited from the playoffs. So I get there and we don't lose. And then even after I break my foot, they make it to the playoffs and end up winning the championship with
tight.
a quarterback named Kelly Bryant, who was at Clemson in Missouri. Great guy. The one thing I will say I loved about the FCF is the whole league practiced on the same field and we all lived in the same hotel.
Cool.
So that part was dope, bro. Cause like all the quarterbacks are practicing together. All the receivers, running backs, everybody is practicing together. We all eat lunch together. Like that part was dope, bro. Cause it's like you're competing against people, but then you're gonna see them in the hotel right after. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's like we all understood. Of course, you want to put your best product on the field, but everyone's the homie. It's there weren't any issues with people. Like that was really a cool aspect that I did enjoy.
Any funny situations happen with Johnny?
To me, honestly, bro, like I remember being in the locker room when my first game with the Zappers, and Johnny would basically he didn't go to practices. Johnny would just show up for the games, right? And Johnny, so I remember him coming in the locker room and him just clapping, like slow clap, and he was like, "We finally got ourselves a quarterback," and bruh, that shit there, I should have gangster cheered, man. That right there. Cause I was, it's Johnny, bro. Like,
Oh yeah.
I would be lying if I said I remember the first game I played on the Beast. I was on a whole other team, and I remember going to the locker room after the game and seeing that Johnny had followed me because I had 3 touchdowns. I was 360 reversing out of the pocket, just throwing up jump balls, like, and just him following me was like real recognize real. He
Oh yeah.
and but that was also something smart I did too. I put QB Stew on the back of my jersey,
Yeah.
understanding that anyone who watches, like, this is I'm a walking billboard.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's dope. And when did it, like, on social media? When do you think, like, what was the moment that made you like spike? Because you got like what, almost 200,000 like followers on IG. Where was the
Yeah.
spike moment?
I would say before the league, I was at like 86, 87,000.
Okay.
So it's just been a combination of that video dropping obviously drew a lot of traffic, but like I said, even I started taking videos at these one-on-one events that Destroying was doing because he asked me to come on tour with them, and I said to myself, the videos you post on YouTube are always just receiver and DB, but we never see the quarterback POV.
Yeah.
And to me, the POV of the throw is there's the art to it. And I'm
Yeah.
not just this is not just Stu. This is any quarterback who's immaculate. Like when I went to New Jersey and I saw Michael Vick throw in person, Mike was telling, "Come on, Stu, go ahead, throw." I'm like, Mike, I'm watching you throw right now, brother. Like to me, and because Michael Vick was my goat.
Oh yeah.
I'm from Virginia. Like I got Allen Iverson tatted on my bicep. Like it was just surreal. I'm like, wow. I had to pitch myself. I'm like, this is really happening. I'm throwing with Michael Vick. Like, so these type of videos, I always wanted to film because people need to see the trajectory and the artistry and like the windows that we're throwing these passes into.
Mhm.
And so that's what gave me the idea. Wow, why don't I start doing these throws, but like in different environments? I got a throw that I have planned. I gotta fly all the way to Alaska for it.
Oh shit.
But yeah, I have another idea, another concept. I write them all down in my notes. But
Hell
once again, where are we getting these ideas?
yeah. Definitely right after a session or during a session. Gotta be.
Absolutely. So I have probably 10, 20 different concepts written down. I want to go to Paris, you know, like when the
Huh?
sun's setting and the Eiffel Tower starts flickering, and I want to throw a 60-yard bomb with the tower in the background, turn around, take a sip of coffee or some shit. Like, you know, these are just moments in time, brother. That like, if I'm already traveling to these places and enjoying life, how difficult is it to put an NFL ball in my bag and do two or three throws? You
Yeah.
know, so people obviously are enjoying them, so it's like I said, there's going to be people who love them, there's going to be people who hate them, but I love that Gary Vee always talks about you got to be so focused you can't hear the crowd, because if you allow the applaud to get you too high or the boos to get you too low, you're operating off the wrong people. It's like there's a lot of people who comment goat or flames or whatever, and it's like I appreciate it, but only to an extent, because those same people could be talking shit the next day. So you can't, you just can't allow your life to be determined, or to put the value on your life or the things you enjoy doing based on what some other individual has to say. And more often than not, it's usually people with no profile picture, no posts, and just like, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, because I know it could be long winded sometimes, so I apologize, guys.
You're good. You're good.
But it's like the ADHD. It's like my brain, bing, bing, bing. Um, the one thing I'm gonna say is, a lot of times when it comes to those style of content, I always say to myself, what am I putting out versus what are they putting out? In regards to, I'm not on people's pages hating,
Yeah.
right? You either are giving love or you're giving hate.
Yeah.
So even a lot of time I respond to hate with love, because I know they're not actually mad at me. I know they're hurting.
Yeah.
I know more often than not that something along the way has them hurting. And I genuinely mean this. I want them to heal, because it's like you wouldn't have a fake burner account on pages saying the most disrespectful, hateful shit, trying to hurt people's feelings, if you weren't also hurting.
Right.
I compare it to, like, why do we not ask homeless people for money?
Right.
Why?
Not gonna
Respectfully,
get
because
it.
I used to be homeless, brother. There was a time where I had to sleep in storage units. I had to sleep in IHOPs. I slept in Anytime Fitness bathrooms. So I used to be this person. I never panhandled, because I knew it was only for a short period of time, but we don't ask homeless people for money because they don't have it. So you can't expect a person to give you love that doesn't have it.
That's
So
for
I
sure.
hope they receive it. I hope they heal. I hope life gets better for them, because at the end of the day, they wouldn't be given that if that's where they weren't in life. So, I genuinely want to put love out. I genuinely want people to go after their dreams. I genuinely want people to do what they're passionate about doing, because we never know when life is over. And when life is over, that's it. You got to do what you got to do. Whether you're into music, whether you're into podcasts, go do what you want to do, truly.
Hell yeah. COVID kind of pushed me into this. And I'm still doing shit that, like, even when people ask, what do you do? Like, if it's someone who doesn't understand, it's like weird to say, I make money by giving good advice about fantasy football and people pay me for it.
It's a beautiful thing, brother. Like, there's not, and don't feel bad for that, bro. Don't feel bad
No,
for
I
that.
don't. No, I don't.
You shouldn't, because at the end of the day, one door closed, and you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it requires us having to be forced into the blessing, like, that's just the reality, and I'm
Yeah.
just glad that you said, you know what? I'm capable. I'm more than enough. No one has to qualify me to talk about this. I qualify myself. So keep doing what you're doing, bro. Like, there's obviously a community that appreciates it and also is interested in the same thing. Like, you're making your own lane, bro. You're making your own lane.
And it's fun. And like even Bake Slice, that I bet QB Stew would get along with Ricky. Got to get them on the stream in the at the same time in the future. And yeah, see, I would love to have, just like a panel of different athletes, different walks of life, and all that. And we're just talking about, that doesn't even matter, talking about just different things, and whether it's the cannabis industry, whether it's the culture. I mean, there's so many things that I know that just people want to hear athletes talk about it, because like I played baseball when I was younger. I was smoking before every single game in high school, and even when we played like as adults, still getting stoned right before the games. Like nothing changes. And then like Ricky Williams here in, he's doing the exact same thing when he's in high school and then in college, and hearing his story about, yeah, this guy, it was the first time that I like really hit a bong. He was like, and then I had 300-yard games the next 2 games after that.
And it's just a game, That's the reality. Like within 5 seconds, tell me who won the 2011 Super Bowl.
Packers, right?
I don't know. That I said and this is
Yeah.
coming from a quarterback. I don't know, bro. Like I'm sure if but it's just the concept. Like it's just a game, bro. Like if I told you list the last 10 Super Bowl winners, like it's like, okay, that would take some real thoughts, to really write them all out. It's just a game. Like the reason we all get into the game is because we love the game. Most of
Oh,
us, And it's like that's the only reason I went back to the game, is because I love it. That's the only reason I still throw a football, is because I love it. So with what you talked about and the anxiety, the heartaches, like life is just like gravity. Shit is heavy. It can be. Not always, but it can be. So when there's something you can do that makes you forget about the gravity of life, do that thing. That's why I still throw football. Because when I go to these different places, the only thing I'm not thinking about my mom being sick. I'm not thinking about all the hate comments. I'm not thinking about, my fam. I'm not thinking about money. I'm not thinking about any of those things. I'm thinking about the present moment of I'm out here throwing this ball, doing what I love. And after I film this clip, it's gonna be a moment in time. And it's once you put something on the internet, it's a seed that you plant. You never know the harvest after it's planted. But if all we focus on is planting as perfectly as we can, that's all that matters.
hell yeah. And what did Marco say? I like QB Stew's hat. What hat you got there?
So
The
this is a custom. So it's they took the Braves feathers and made it like the Atlanta A. And
Hell
like
yeah.
I said, I lived in Atlanta for 4 years, so I like to show love to the places I've been. It's like I'm the type of, like, even this hoodie. I didn't buy this hoodie. A friend gave me this hoodie. Like I'm the type of person where all my tattoos are done from an artist that I went to high school with. All the artwork I buy is from a guy who I've known since second grade. Like I love people, man. I love good, genuine people. I love people who do other people correctly,
Hell
properly. Like that's what I'm about. So, like I said, man, what you put out is what comes back. So I don't allow the energy that I receive to dictate what I put out. Like I'm just
hell
going
yeah.
to continue to do that and trust and know that it's a universal law. That at the end of the day, if I keep living off this level of frequency and vibration, then that's what I'm going to attract.
100. Hell yeah. People don't think that that's real, but it's usually the people who are in a bad mood all the time who don't think that that's real.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to go on Google at some point today and type in the Omega scale, right? You look at the Omega scale, there's a vibrational chart, a frequency chart, and you'll see at the top of it is enlightenment, love, peace, joy. The lower you get on the scale, you start to get into hatred, envy, jealousy. That's why you get around certain people and they're like, I love being around this guy. It's something about him. It's an energy that he brings. And that's why, back to the Bible, Jesus said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Imagine how gangster it would be to say the final score in the second quarter. That man talked about the final score in the second quarter. So, and even to clarify, in the videos where I say I'm him, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the God inside of me. Right? There's a God inside of you and everyone else watching this. So that's the beauty of it, is we all need to wake up and remind ourselves. The scripture says faith comes by hearing the word. So I encourage everyone to speak affirmations over their life, so that way their faith can increase over themselves. Like I am disciplined. I am loving. I am a great communicator. Like, these are just simple affirmations that the more you say them, the more your subconscious starts to believe them. And as you start to believe them, you start to live them. And before you know it, because so many people, I hate to say it, but I see so many people, they continue to live the life that they're speaking. It says life and death is in the power of the tongue. Life and death. So I speak life. I don't want anyone to die. I speak life. I want people to live. So,
Hell yeah. Everyone's loving what you're saying right now. Shout out to Spencer. He said all facts, QB Stew. Peacock said, yeah. Bake said, preach, brother. Dennis said, QB Stew is that dude. Toyota One said, this is a true, good, genuine dude. Good shit, bro. Yeah, we appreciate you dropping all the knowledge and coming and sharing your story, because, yeah, that was a dope moment in time that you created that hopefully is never forgotten. And even though you said you're kind of just like a speck or whatever, like, pretty much all those guys you mentioned, like, that's how short of the list like it is. So either way, like, hopefully you know how dope that was.
I appreciate that, bro. Like I said, man, it's, my name, my story, my moment in time will wither away. This is the last thing I'm gonna leave on, because I know we're wrapping up. But I love that King Solomon. He was the wisest to ever live outside of Jesus, and he wrote the book of Ecclesiastics. And he said, chasing money, chasing fame, chasing women is like chasing the wind. You can never catch it. So that's what I'm saying, brother. Like, don't worry about chasing the wrong things. These things we can't catch. Have you ever tried to catch wind? Good luck. You know what I'm saying? It's unlike Aguilar, right? So I just encourage people, man, just stay prayed up, man. Just continue to treat others how you would want to be treated. And just continue, like, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So whatever you guys genuinely want in your heart of hearts, just take one step towards that thing. Don't worry about tomorrow. Focus on today. And I appreciate you having me on, bro. Truly, man. Praying for all your success. I appreciate you sending the DM. All the messages were love, good energy. So, I didn't mind hopping on here, taking time out of the day. Because remember, time is the one thing we can't get back. Money, you can always get that back. But time, that's precious, man. You can never buy that back. So I appreciate your time, bro.
Hell yeah, we appreciate your time as well. You got anything that you want to, where can people follow you? Anything you got to plug?
QB Stew on all platforms, and I just plug Jesus, man, like, truly, because to me, that's what changed my whole life. Like I said, man, I could have been in prison, I could have been dead. There was all the people who I was running with in high school, a lot of them ended up with that fate. So it's like, my real, I would say the fork in the road came when I started to really tap into the word and start to pray and start to really seek after something greater than myself. And you know, like I said, of course, I'm cannabis a activist for that, because I do genuinely believe that God created the plant. I mean, I know He did. So it's like, God's not a liar. He said, I have given you all plant yielding seeds. They shall be for you. So it's like, I'm like, okay, I know He's not a liar. It's like, everything I created is good. I know He's not a liar. So, that's all I encourage people to do, is just continue to seek God, stay true to yourself, and just take it one day at a time. I have a sense that a lot of people, I know people are going through things, so I'm truly praying for whatever anxiety people are feeling, that be healed, whatever depression people are feeling, that a light inside of them comes about. And I just love people, man. I love people. And my little brother, he got bullied a lot. So I was always fighting the people that would pick on him. I got bullied a lot too, even though I was the quarterback, and I would get bullied for stuff. So, you know, I'm a man of the people, bro. Like, I'm never too big for anyone. I'm just a regular average dude, man. Just doing what I love. So appreciate you having me on. Keep running it up, bro. I'm excited to see where you're at a year from now, 2 years from now. Like, just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Appreciate you, homie. And Spencer, he said, glad I tuned in for what I needed to hear on my B-Day. Happy birthday, Spencer.
Happy birthday, bro.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you, bro. And hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Just let me know, bro. We'll line it up. I'll meet you on the 50 for the
Sounds
coin toss.
I like it,
bro. Y'all have a great day, man. Y'all be great.
Appreciate you.
All right, love,
Later,
bro.
You ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother.
Show me the money.
Oh, you didn't know?
Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
You put my shoes on, you wouldn't last a mile. Summertime, wintertime, I'm on the grind. Yeah, I got the ring, I'm the champ, I'm the genie of the lamp.
This is the gift I was given, so I just live by my hustle.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
VIP me put in my pocket, it don't make sense, but don't make a profit. So I hustle, ladies and homies, make money, money, money.
All out here for a pill. When he tryna get this money for the real.
I want to find a thing to save my life, so I hustle.
It ain't over for me, no, it ain't over for me.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Okay, let's go smoke that joint.